Kirk couldn't help glancing upward every time a shadow dragon moved across the ground in front of him. His new friends were circling them in the sky while they continued their hike to Black Mountain. It was less than a mile away, and he knew that they needed to be inside the safety of Aurora's ship before dark. Sheldor estimated they only had 3 hours to accomplish that goal. Earth seemed so far away, not only in light years, but in memory. It had only been 4 months since he was introduced to space and his alien inheritance, but it seemed like years. He has seen things that he could have never imagined on his own, but he would give anything to be able to kick back with a beer on the porch of his family's home. Perhaps spend a few days fishing in the Colorado River. He looked at the Colonel and he responded by winking at him. Kirk was wondering how the old fart was doing. Regardless of what was going on, he always seemed to be having a good time. He took a minute to look behind him at the Melkotians that joined them on the journey. All 3 of them kept pace with each other behind Sheldor. At the base of the mountain ahead of them was a forest full of colorful trees. They were orange, red, green, purple, and yellow. It confused him a little bit because on Earth, those were the colors of the trees in the fall. But the sun was out and it was very warm outside. Walking through the forest was definitely one of the highlights of his day. When the wind blew through the trees, it sounded like an audience was applauding their effort. There were sun rays that found their way through the trees and onto the ground ahead of them, and he could smell the fragrant aroma of honeysuckle, but he couldn't seem to locate it. He took a deep breath and unzipped his jacket. Sheldor appeared next to him. My scans suggest we should be seeing the ship by now. Then how come the only thing I see is a mountain? Kirk turned to look at Tavin briefly. Sheldor took a handheld scanner out of his bag and held it up. After a few moments, he mimicked a sigh of frustration. Because the mountain isn't a mountain at all. It's a volcano. He too glanced at Tavin. The ship was covered by lava approximately 40 years ago. He put the scanner back in his bag. As you know, that's how most mountains are formed. Kirk faced Tavin and opened his arms. Tavin, what the hell? Did you know about this? Tavin nodded. Of course. We check on Aurora frequently to make sure she is okay. O'Neill squinted at the mountain. And how the heck do you manage that? There is a pool at the base of the mountain that leads to a pocket of air around the ship. Tavin pointed to some trees and started walking forward. O'Neill raised an eyebrow. Why didn't you just move the ship? Kirk furrowed his brows. How would they have done that? O'Neill laughed. Oh, I don't know. All of them joining together to form a giant large enough to just pick it up and walk it someplace else? Kirk exaggerated a frown, then nodded. That would have been awesome. He smacked the Colonel on the back. No! The 2 turned to Tavin. He was on his knees near the base of a giant boulder. He was rubbing what appeared to be a large, smooth white rock in the ground. He was very upset. Tavin, what is it? What's wrong? Kirk knelt down next to him. He couldn't figure out why the shapeshifter was so upset. The Prime looked at Kirk with sorrow in his eyes. The ancestors. Kirk looked at the smooth surface while his mind tried to grasp the magnitude of the situation. An entire race of people were trapped inside the planet and perhaps dead. Kirk took out his phone. He needed to contact Brian to see if he knew what was going on. He fired off a text.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.